let's try this again. So, I'm going to probably have to cut the video. So if it's a little bit off, I'm sorry. I'll try to get it as good as I can. I want to show a Nidalee matchup versus Jayce. I want to do a lot of matchups to, one, learn the matchups myself, and two, this is very high elo play, so this is them playing very well. So you see the discussions on which champion counters who and why, and this will hopefully give us some kind of indication as to what we can do when we're playing this matchup before we get there. I haven't seen a lot of videos, I have seen a lot of discussions, so I'm going to try to make some videos. So she starts with wards and lots of pots. It's a pretty decent start for top. With your traps, you're fairly safe on Nidalee. The big thing about Nidalee is just getting level 6. Your early laning phase, you can get ganked. So if you have your traps in the brush and you have a couple wards, it's going to be really hard to get them. So the 2 wards, a lot of potion start is what this Nidalee goes for. And one reason to have lots of health potions is when they engage on you, you want to return damage. You don't want to just have to run from it because you're afraid. So she does that. She gets her speed just like she had boots because of the brush. So if you abuse the brush, not starting boots will not hurt you. Just get in, get the CS you can, and then get back so he can't auto attack you so often as you can. Nidalee's stronger in the brush than Jayce, so you can use that to your advantage. If Jayce gets stronger and can just duel her, Jayce can use the brush, but usually when it's even, or if Nid's ahead, then Nid owns the brush. So you have you want to be pushing as much as you can. You want to keep a little bit of experience out in front. I think it was Plasma that taught me that originally. He likes Jarvan, and he likes to push so that he gets level advantage. Like, he takes his level up first, and then he tries to trade right then in that small window where he's ahead. So Nidalee's great at pushing because she's a ranged champion, does quite a bit of damage. So pushing out to this tower and trying to play this as well as she can. And hopefully she can avoid as much of the Jayce damage as you can. You got to worry about that shockwave. It does hit pretty hard. You're pretty safe because you have the 2 traps and the tri-brush and the ward, so you're not as afraid of Olaf coming. Olaf really needs to come extremely early, or he can't come because a level 6 Nidalee will just walk away. He doesn't have any hard CC, and it's a skill shot for his slow. So Nidalee has a great escape from Olaf. She's a very decent pick when Olaf is the jungler, and she can push against most champions. I don't know about all champions, but against most champions, Nidalee can outpush them. So Jayce can push with her, but he uses a lot of mana to do so. And once she hits 6, I actually think she's stronger in this lane. Pre-6, I think that if they got into an all-out duel, Jayce would win. You can see that right there, that Jayce is able just to do a ton of burst damage, but it takes out a lot of mana. And here's where Nidalee excels, is she pops a potion and just hits heal, and it's almost like it never happened. But Jayce's mana bar is low, so in some ways it did happen, and it's kind of good for her. So there goes a lot more mana from Jayce. And this time she stopped and fought him. She retreated the whole time. You're kiting the entire time. But while she's kiting, she's laying some damage down. And with her heal and the potions, it's going to be important so that she can't just go. So he couldn't dive her because she had the heal. If she didn't have heal, he could have probably dove. I don't know if diving would have been a good idea, but it makes you safer. So here Nidalee's about to hit 6. And because of the heal and the potions, she's pretty full. Jayce is extended and not a lot of mana on Jayce. He's got the fairy charm to keep him going a little bit, but it's not a lot of mana, and he's going to use a lot of it right there, and he doesn't get all that much done. And so there's the flash and Q, and then switches form at the right time. If she would have switched too early, he would have been faster than her, and he possibly would have gotten away. She switched when she just needed that ranged attack because he had that little bit of distance. So after you get the kill, she knows that Olaf's probably not there because of the trap and the tri-brush and her ward, so she's going to push so that wave will get to the tower. You always want to try to get your waves to the tower so that the tower's clearing them, so that not only did you push well and get that out, you denied him some of that creep wave's gone, and he didn't get experience or gold. So I'm going to speed it up just to get her out to the lane again. We want to see the action, not the running to the lane. Okay, we're back to lane. At this point, she built the Glacial Shroud, gives you extra mana, cooldown reduction, and negates a lot of Jayce's damage, as he does a lot of physical damage. It's just not going to hurt so bad. Like, even that poke, because she got the Glacial Shroud, that's a very decent item to build against Jayce, against Pantheon, against someone who has a lot of AD damage. Zed, even, you might want to do that. So, it gives you quite a bit of things you want, and it doesn't really cost you that much. And with the mobility of Cougar form to go in and out, unlike a lot of melee champs, she has tons of mobility, so it's really hard. Jayce can land a Shock Blast by waiting like that, but you can see she's going to just return some of the damage, but with potions and with her heal, she's pretty much okay. So she can kind of disengage at will, heals, doesn't have to go to base. Whereas if you were a different champion, he might have zoned a lot of champions right there and made him base. Especially after landing that as well. So got a little bit of poke back, and that's really all you need. You don't need to do a ton, you just need to do some. And now she actually has her boots. Here comes Olaf from behind her, and she dodges the axe. If you're in that situation, you want to dodge Olaf's axe more so than you want to dodge Jayce's Q. Jayce's Q is just damage. The axe is damage plus a slow, and that's when they could maybe have engaged. They could have maybe gone for the kill in the dive if the axe would have landed. So that's what you want to be careful of. The Jayce Q's hurt, but with the Glacial Shroud and a heal and potions, it's not the worst thing ever. You can deal with some damage. So always try to be pushing. You don't want to be pushed to your tower. I mean, obviously when the gank comes, you got to play it right and play it safe. So you see there mid, Olaf's missing, but Olaf's going to be missing a lot. He's the jungler, and you're Nidalee, so you'll probably escape. So once she pushes back out, she goes to buy. She's out of mana, so she can't really heal off all the damage she takes. And always have wards with you. Between wards and your traps, you're usually pretty good. Ninja Tabi avoids a lot of Jayce's damage, and really avoids a lot of his W damage. When he hits W in melee form, or in ranged form, he gets 3 auto attacks, and since Ninja Tabi takes a direct number of, and it's reduced damage on each one, so if you have things like Doran's Shield, the Mastery to reduce auto attack damage, or for instance the Ninja Tabi, you will take a ton of reduced damage from that move. So it's pretty important to get that move. That's part of why I really like Black Cleaver on Jayce, is because when you hit W, you attack 3 times really fast at max attack speed. And you could see in Cougar form, she's making it really hard to land his skill shots. She's really strong against skill shot champions because of her mobility. And she always goes down the river. Any chance she gets, she goes down the river. Because she can return the lane faster than most, and she can heal up any damage taken in this trade. So she's able to trade for Twisted Fate, and then Twisted Fate's going to take control of his lane again, and she's not going to miss much top at all. So she can heal off stuff, and it breaks vision, and if they don't have it warded, you might actually get kills. They happen to have it warded, so it's harder to get the kills, but it's still something. It still puts pressure on the whole map if you're roaming, and it makes them ward. If you don't roam and you just stay kind of where you are supposed to stay for them, then it's going to be hard. And landing those W's correctly and learning exactly how Nidalee leaves just takes practice. Just play Nidalee, you'll get it down, if that's something that you care about. If you don't play Nidalee, it jumps a little bit weird. So we're going to run this lane until she takes the tower, pretty much. I mean, you could always... it's not necessarily a Nidalee guide, it's the laning phase. How to play against Jayce. So Jayce does quite a bit of damage to her, and she backed off without returning a lot. She might have had to, because he is pretty full, and she's not as full. Here, yeah, you can see she's trying to do as much damage as she can. She heals off as much as she can as well. And so she comes out ahead, even though he has a ton of burst. So that's a huge plus, is when you can come out ahead in these trades. So even though he lands Shock Blast, she came out ahead again with the heal. It's the heal that lets her go ahead, and the attack speed off the heal is nice. And that time avoids the Shock Blast, and if she ever does that, she's really going to come out ahead. So she has 3 points in Q, 5 points in E, and then the 1 point in W that she takes first to get traps out to not be ganked. So her Flash and Ignite are up. She sees Olaf, so she backs off. That's why that back off came. Because she pretty much, with Flash Ignite, has a huge advantage right now in a fight. She just wants to get down any damage onto him as she can, and then she was trying to bait out the Shock Blast. Because if he misses that, it's going to be a lot of mana gone, and she'll have an advantage. So now she's safe to run in amongst the minions. She just dodged the Shock Blast so she can clear the wave as fast as she wants. Cannon minions make it easy, and then if you watch with Ignite, Cannon minion, and just the spear, you can see what happened was she ignited, leaps in, hits W first, then Q. Q does the percent of the missing life, so you want to be doing Q afterwards. Then Q's him and goes ahead and takes the kill really quick. Nidalee does quite a bit of burst, and with the flash is able to get back out. So you can leap in or flash in and then leap out. The nice part about leaping in is the leap does damage. So if you can land it on them, then you'll be able to flash out, take almost no damage, pick off a quick kill. So it's kind of why you don't want to... I remember at the World Championships, Mac Noon was playing Jayce and banning Nidalee. And this is kind of why he didn't like going against Nidalee. And if they played Jayce, he would pick Nidalee. He felt like Nidalee was, this isn't me, this is him. From what I understand, and if I say this wrong, I mean, feel free to correct me on YouTube comments or whatever. But the main thing was he wanted to take Jayce without Nid going against Jayce. Or he would take Nidalee into Jayce. So if they had first pick, they would pretty much force you to ban Jayce because he would ban Nidalee. And if you didn't, you had to deal with his Jayce without a Nidalee to counter it, which is a pretty rough lane for most people. And if you're landing spears like that, once you kind of get ahead, she has her heal, she used a potion to save her mana. And goes Iceborne Gauntlets. Those Iceborne Gauntlets really make Jayce's life rough. If he comes out and gets slowed, she's already mobile enough and has more burst than him. She can finish him off. So because he can't do much about it, she just speeds herself up and is going to take the tower. And that's pretty much going to end this video for now. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you could learn something, and I'll have more matchup guides coming soon.